Hi, John Bauer, naturalchoiceswellness.com with today's tip to be healthy for life. Uh, I wanted to give you a review today of a great video I ran across by a gentleman by the name of Jeff Cavaliere. He runs an exercise training program on the web called Athlean X. Does a lot of YouTubes, kind of a YouTube star, and a very, very knowledgeable guy. Very, very impressive. I enjoy watching him. And I watched this video today on nutrition and diets, and it just really hit home with me. This is so much spot on information that people need to understand, especially people that want to live a long and healthy life. And that's what we're all about here at naturalchoiceswellness.com. We want to be healthy for life. That's why we're using that tagline. Uh, we want to be in our 80s and be able to do what we could do in our 50s and 60s. And there's no reason we can't, you know. Uh, but you won't be able to do it if you're overweight, and you won't be able to do it if you don't maintain your muscle mass. These are big pieces of the puzzle to make this happen. And, people struggle with this. I've struggled with this for years. Uh, you look up yo-yo diet in the dictionary and there's my picture everywhere. Uh, so I've been down the road. I understand it. And, that's kind of where Jeff goes with this. He talks about the term diet and, what's the worst diet in the world? And he gets right in there and he says, look, the worst diet in the world is one you can't do long term. And that's most of them, to be honest with you. Most diets, they're a little extreme from your norm, okay? Uh, so you do it. It's willpower based. You kind of force yourself to do it, and maybe you see results, and maybe you stick with it for 3 months or 6 months. But eventually you kind of get tired of it. It feels restrictive to you, and willpower is one of those things that it's got a limited lifespan. So that's why you yo-yo. That you slip back to the old habits, a little bit of time usually, and before you know it, you've bounced back. You've gained all the weight you lost, and you've probably gained a little more in the process. So this is that vicious cycle that we get into, and there's lots of diets, believe me, and they all work. That's why they're called a diet. You follow this program that's different from your normal way of eating, and you will probably lose weight if you follow it seriously. But the key is, can you follow it forever? Now, maybe you can. Maybe you find that one that just, rings with you. And hey, more power to you if you can. Uh, but for the most part, he just really does not like that diet term. He wants to talk about nutrition and the power of nutrition. And he makes the point that the decisions you make every day about what you put in your body are probably the most important decisions you make that day in terms of your future life. Your life out there in those out years where you want to keep healthy, you want to keep functional, you know. Uh, and so, that he's all about nutrition. It's refreshing for a personal trainer. I'll tell you that. I find it impressive. And I've spent some time on Jeff's channel, and I've seen what his diet is, and it's not a bad diet. Uh, I've got my ideas. We've all got our ideas. I'm still not sure I completely understand the science of truly what the best diet is, but I have an idea of a lot of good guideposts to go by. And you can find that on my site if you're interested. Uh, but the important thing when I teach, a weight management program, my pro coach program, for example, what we teach has nothing to do with food. You know, the first month and a half, uh, you're not even talking about what you're eating. You're talking about habits around eating. Uh, we start out with talking about time and time management and making time for being healthy, and then we talk about uh, how you're eating. Whether you're able to slow down your eating and eat mindfully. You know, and really understand being what being full means, what being when it's time to stop eating, how to listen to your body and let your body tell you when you've had enough food, because it will if you'll let it. And then after that, after we get some kind of baseline stuff taken care of, then we start talking about some principles about what to eat. But I will tell you, I'm somewhat agnostic. I don't have a set idea of what you need to eat. I think you need to eat what you enjoy eating. I just think you need to eat it in reasonable quantities and listen to your body and not overeat. Now, there are certain foods that are not healthy for your body. There's just no way around it. I mean, you can get a healthy weight with junk food, but it's not a healthy body that junk food will give you. That there's issues with high omega-6 fats that are going to cause inflammation in your body, and that's just all there is to it. I mean, it's uh, but that being said, you know, to say never, you can never have a Big Mac or whatever it is, that's just crazy. That's crazy. You just need to understand that, you need to control those kind of things. So, but anyway, there's another thing that Jeff talks about in this, and that it just really struck me as so true because people do this every time. You would never, you would never start out training like you were an Olympian if you'd been sedentary for years. You just wouldn't do it. You'd start out slow, you'd work your way up, you'd build your strength a little bit at a time, and but for some reason with diets, we think we can go from crappy eating one minute to 100% of this diet the next, and it's almost like cramming on the gas, going 0 to 60, uh, and it makes so much more sense to do it slowly, to work your way into it, to to make changes incrementally and slowly. And Jeff makes the point in this video, and I do want you to watch the video. It's well worth the 13 minutes that it runs. Uh, he makes the point that he's not into quick results. When he did the diet thing, when he did the nutrition thing and made the decision he was gonna change his nutrition, you know, he said he'd care less about quick results. He was interested in something that was going to work for a lifetime and give him lifetime results. And so he did this. He took this slowly. He made small changes, and then after he made those to be kind of a habit, and those were his new way of eating, he made more small changes, and he just kept iterating that, until he got to where he wanted to be. And I think there's a huge amount of common sense to that approach. I think that's the way you build something that you can stick with for the rest of your life. And Jeff made a great point, a great line in this. And he said, when you're going to do this, you don't want to do it over and over and over again. You don't want to do this yo-yo thing. You want to do it right the first time. Do it right the first time, and you will never have to do it again because you will reach that healthy weight. You'll reach a healthy level of fitness, and you will just maintain that for the rest of your life without trying to. It'll just be the new way that you eat and exercise, and it's just normal for you at that point. It's not something you're going to backslide out of because you're finally glad that's over. Um, so the problem with the yo-yo thing. I mean, it from a personal development standpoint. You've heard the saying, "You are what you eat," or "You are what you think." And this is what happens to you when you're doing this yo-yo stuff. It's you fail. Okay, so that makes an impression on your mind. Then you fail at the next one. Then you fail at the next one. Pretty soon you're thinking you got this negative self-talk stuff going on, like, well, look, I can't stick with a diet. I might as well not even try. Well, the heck with it. I'm just gonna eat what I want and be happy, and whatever happens. And you just kind of get in this totally negative, self-damaging, self-talk way of being that you don't have that confidence and that positive outlook that you need to be a success in things, and especially in your health and your diet. And come on, I mean, we've got important things in our life, our families, our work, the things that we like to do that really give us enjoyment and pleasure. And you don't want to put an end date on that stuff before you have to, you know. Uh, why should you have to give up that stuff in your 70s just because you didn't give a darn, and you know you wanted to be happy in your 50s and 60s. uh, I mean, wouldn't you rather still be doing all those things that you really derive pleasure from well into your 80s, maybe into your 90s? I think it's possible, but and I don't think it's that hard. It's just a matter of building the habits that'll get you there. So, uh, okay, I'm going to wrap this up, and I again, like I say, I encourage you to watch Jeff's video. He's very passionate about this, and you'll see it in the video. And I appreciate your patronage of my site and coming to see me, and I hope that we can continue to work with you to be healthy for life. This is John Bauer. Thank you. Bye.